Raiders are in the gate, but doing fine, feeling good. Happy Wednesday. This is, the opening call. As always, our focus is on seeking accurate context, good risk management, and remaining patient in our trading. It's great to see you, Jack. Eddie's still on a little vacation here, so but it's always a pleasure to be here with everybody. Chat, Anastasios, Sharon Turner. First time I think I've seen that in the early bird list here. Kanabascan, Adrian, Art, Naveen, Galvanizer, Man Cave, Amanda 88, Chris Flores, my good friend Nick Nichols. Good morning. At one time, Rick Quaz, Jerry, and Yabbersmack. Those were the top of the list. Great to see everybody this morning.
Also, special shout out to Hoop, Nightbot, Nick Dolby, Alonzo Miller, the Viking Trader. Just some that I saw there. Hey, if it's your first time here, like and subscribe to the channel. That is how we pay our bills and various things around here. Also, be nice with us today. This is the part where we break down the markets for the day going forward. A little bit of news, then Hogue will get to his charts. Looking around this morning, futures down a little bit following the GDP number, which Hogue will get into in a minute here. We're still digesting a lot of earnings information this week, plus non-farm Friday. And then the main event that comes once every 4 years, like a deadbeat Santa, is the presidential election on Tuesday. A lot of volatility around that. Bitcoin nearly reached a record high of $74,000 yesterday. It's trading around 72K when I looked a few minutes ago. Let's see if that's still true. 71,750 in the cash market is what I have Bitcoin at right at the moment. Yesterday, we talked a lot about that 4.3 level in the 10-year yields. Now, we went above 4.3. We've dived back through. Yes, down to about 4.254 right now. I was just checking after that GDP number. Something to keep an eye on there. We're at our highs since July of this year. That will be rather dependent on the election as well. Hogue will get into it more, but Alphabet, aka Google, was up about 7% pre-market after beating both the top line earnings, the top line revenue numbers, and the earnings numbers. But Hogue, something to watch out for Google. A Russian court has ruled that Google owes Russian media stations around $20 decillion for blocking their content. Those, decillion. You know how much $20 decillion is, Hogue?
It's got to be more than 1 million.
I didn't know what it was either, but that is 2 followed by 34 zeros. Oh. Yes, that is more money than exists on planet Earth. Must be paid from Google to Russian media stations. So be careful if you're investing in Google stock. By the way, as long as we're talking about that, none of this is financial advice. We're probably going to take some trades today. You would be a real dum-dum to try and copy them or fade them or make any decision that isn't your own and in your own financial interest. Hey, you. There's a little disclaimer there. Don't be a lemming. Don't be a Biff. Make your own trades. Have your own risk profile. All right, that's enough. We've been disclaimed. Hoagland, with that, what do you got for us this morning?
All right. Well, economic numbers this morning, 6 o'clock a.m., the mortgage rates and applications came out. Mortgage rates leaked up a little bit from the previous week of 6.52% to 6.73%. Applications were 0.1% lower, 715. What would normally be viewed as probably good news. The ADP employment change was up 233,000 after an expected 110,500. So is good news bad news still? Seems the markets aren't liking too much of what they've seen so far this morning. And a lot of that is based off the GDP numbers that came out, the preliminary number that came out at 7:30 this morning. They were looking for it to go from 3% to 2.9%. It came out at 2.8%, a little lower than expected. Markets are not reacting very well to that. So we also had the core PCE preliminary today. They were looking for it to drop from 2.8% to 2.1%. It came out 2.2%. 9 o'clock pending home sales, 9:30. EIA petroleum status report is due out. Now, earnings this morning, really mixed numbers. Lilly missed on both expectations for earnings per share as well as revenues. AbbVie beating on both. Caterpillar missing on both. ADP beating on both. And the majors after the close today are, of course, Microsoft, Meta, and Amgen. So we'll look forward to another bunch of important earnings after the close again today as well. VIX is up about 2% this morning. Last I checked, trading about 1975. And again, that's up 2%, but it's still lower than it was yesterday at this time, which was 20.13. The dollar index, 104.38. 104.2 at this time yesterday. And as Jack mentioned, the yield on the 10-year last I checked was 4.26%. This time yesterday was 4.24%. So that's what we've got as far as economic numbers, earnings, and the like. What else you looking at there, Jack?
Yeah, a few housekeeping things before we get started. The first, Hogue, it's been a while since I've discussed this on air. As Thanksgiving gets closer, this is a teaser for later. I will share, my dad would make Thanksgiving stuffing out of sliders. He would go in the morning to White Castle on Thanksgiving and make slider stuffing. The stuff is incredible. Can't recommend it enough.
I've heard it's very good.
It is very good. All the stuffing ingredients are in those sliders. Besides that, we got a couple announcements here, but first, let's hit the tip of the week. It'll be the same as yesterday, but we're going to keep doing it till it is drilled into your headspace. Know your edge. Your edge can be anything, but it's specific to you. Going back to the not copying trades, you got to find your own edge. When you do, quantify it, use it, and when it stops working, find a new edge. All right. With that, we'll take that down. Just want to make it aware to everybody, by the way, today is the third day of our scouting for our brand new Topstep VIP teams kicking off in January. So between now and January, we are going to be dropping lots of check-in forms. Those that check in the most will have the highest chances of getting on one of those VIP teams. I believe we're going to 10 from our current 5. Look out later this morning for our third check-in form drop. It could be you, seen by those golden binoculars right there. I love graphic design, Hogue. And yeah, little opera glasses.
Yes.
Well, fast markets today. We got Nick for a Tick is joining us. You guys know him. I'll introduce him with a little more info after Hogue gets to the charts. Also, Jared J is making his first appearance. You'll want to see that. One of our funded traders. But Hogue, with that, why don't we dive into the charts here?
Well, let's do just that. As always, starting with the daily and the S&Ps. We get this sized here. All right. So the medium time frame balance that I'm calling this kind of medium time frame. Some would say it's probably shorter time frame balance, but it remains intact. Price still relatively centrally located between last week's low, last week's high, weekly kickoff high, and weekly kickoff low. Lots of anticipation and indecision, I think, in the broader index here about impending new data, earnings, election. Markets really just kind of indecisive, and I can see this indecisiveness in the size of the wicks from the past 4 sessions. Just lots of auction probing in both directions. No auctions really being all that successful. We're seeing a pullback now after those GDP numbers and the ADP numbers. But I don't think that much has changed here in the S&Ps in the longer time frame. In the bigger picture, we're still really relatively centrally located. Jack, I used to talk about this like a tennis player. If this was a tennis court and the tennis player would be right in the middle, of the sidelines, looking for the volley. If it's going to come this way, they're primed to go get the ball. If it comes higher, they're primed to go get the ball. The market just seems to be just kind of really thirsty for information. A little bit of a hair trigger, I think. We're seeing some relative Thin markets here. I don't think that they're very liquid, so keep that in mind. Should something happen, you're going to see some slippage. You're going to see some thinner markets here. So just keep that in mind, especially if you're near your daily loss limit. If you're near your daily loss limit, you might want to think about just stepping away. If you do get stopped, you might get some slippage that could take you over that daily loss limit. Just a suggestion there. But these wiki indecisive bars are kind of typical when there is a lot of pending information in the wind here, and there's just so much. It seems like it's a little inundating, I think, for a lot of traders, myself included. We don't know how these markets are going to react to anything. And remember, on the opening call here, we're just really trying to put some sort of context, some sort of usable context over the markets, not suggesting the purchase or sale of anything. Well, here's the 30-minute chart. All right. We had a pretty decent rally yesterday, but the market overall really didn't go anywhere. We still stayed inside the range from Monday, I should say, Tuesday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. Yes, today is Wednesday. Let me get that straight. All right. Overnight inventory is looking a little bit to the short side, but the market is looking like it's ready to open in range, in value. Going to probably keep me back in my seat a little bit. I usually will think that I'll find better trade locations as the day goes on. So I'm going to try and stay patient. We were kind of trading right in the middle of the range from yesterday. Inside range, inside value, try and stay patient. The profile yesterday was a normal variation / trend day. The market opened, looked lower, and then rallied the rest of the day until, of course, that little sell-off at the end of the day that everybody looks for on directional days like this. We did put in a weak high here. We don't have an excess high, which bodes for possible returning to that area to see if there's any liquidity above there. These weak highs tend to not to be lasting highs. Overnight high. Really just kind of going to be staying patient today. I think that's going to be a wise idea for me. You be you. You see how this plays out. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ, which is in a little bit of a different situation after yesterday, but it is pulling back off those highs. So you can see yesterday, the NASDAQ kind of broke out above this area of balance. Did it do well? Well, we added 7,600 new contracts on this attempted breakout above the previous area of balance. Volume was okay. It wasn't tremendous. By the way, in the S&Ps, we lost 15,000 contracts in open interest yesterday on an up day. A little bit of perhaps short covering yesterday. But again, as far as the weekly kickoff levels are concerned, we tried to get to a decent opportunity up here at weekly kickoff high, 20,832. We've been unable to get there. What doesn't happen can be equally or even more important than what does. So we're starting to pull off here. We're coming back into the area of balance. I'm going to be looking to see if this market can reaccept this previous area of balance. And I'm just going to kind of roughly say that area of balance I'm going to put at the top of these candle bodies here, right about 20,640. And if we do see some acceptance back in that could bring another rotation back inside the area of balance that we just broke out of yesterday. I wasn't all that impressed with the price action and the way that the market did break out of that yesterday. Let me get that back up here. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. All right, overnight inventory, a little to the short side, in range, in value, from yesterday's session again says, well, let's try and stay patient. Let's find better trade locations as the day goes on. The profile yesterday was a normal variation trend type of day. And we're opening, inside range, inside value. The market is still seeking new information to create a new area or a new direction in and around the current area of price action. The question about what is a weak high. So when we had this is the NASDAQ again, of course, and this is a 30-minute chart. There is a relatively weak high on this chart as well. So this is probably not going to be a very lasting high. When we have the market open, it looks lower and then rallies right away. This is an excess low. Price got too cheap. Buyers came in and quickly moved price higher. Well, at the high here, we ran out of buyers, but we don't really have excess on this high. Here's what it looks like, and this is the market profile from yesterday's session, and this is just the very high of that session. We don't have excess. L period came up to this level. M period came up to this level. On the other extreme, this is what excess looks like. The market opens, looks lower. Let me get this. Market opens, looks lower. Sellers back off, buyers come in and take over and then push price higher. This is excess. This is a buying tail. This is no excess or a weak high because there is no excess. When we look at the auction process, auctions die in excess. So there's the NASDAQ, again, opening in range and value. Try and stay patient. Crude oil, a little action going on here this morning. Let's start with the daily chart as usual. So we broke out 2 days ago below the weekly kickoff low. We had some pretty decent volume, and we've been piling in open interest to the short side ever since. We added another 25,000 contracts in open interest just yesterday. Volume did fall off a little bit, though. I'm starting to think that we may be starting to see this market acting a little bit too cheap. We had a test of the weekly kickoff high prior to the open. The market has now opened. We're just going to kind of fall into range and balance here. This would be the third day of this area of range, kind of attracting price. Is momentum slowing to the downside is really the question that I'm kind of sensing here. We looked lower yesterday on lower volume. We did add open interest, probably to the shorts, getting too short, continue to break. So here's the 30-minute chart. Overnight inventory was pretty long coming into the open here. The market tested to and then rejected weekly kickoff low, which is 68.65. That's where the market kind of idled and then broke below it on Monday. Tuesday, we got close to it, rejected it, and we put in what? A poor low, a weak low, a non-excess low. This is by definition a poor low because there was one tick extension below the previous 30-minute bar, and then the market turned around. So this, again, might be looking at a non-lasting low. We have excess on the high from the overnight session. Are we going to come back into and reaccept range and value in crude oil? Value high, I'm kind of looking at this on this platform, is reading 67.64. Any acceptance below that level could bring a value acceptance play, which could take us down to, let's just call it 66.95, and then possibly another check of the poor low that was put in yesterday. Again, all about context, no prediction. Just looking at the nuances that the charts and the profiles are saying and trying to find opportunities in and around that context. Gold, one of the fascinating markets these days, if you ask me. Let's take a look at the daily here. All right. So broke out yesterday above weekly kickoff high of 27.60. Broke out the area of balance, broke out above last week's high, which was 27.7260. On higher volume, check. Open interest, check. We added approximately 23,000 new contracts on that push to the upside yesterday. There is still money coming in to the long side in gold. I've got a measured move that has this possibly reaching all the way up to 28.76. Not suggesting that's going to happen or not, or if it does, I'm not suggesting it's going to happen today, but in a measured move, that would be the target that I would look for this market to reach the next level, where we would be looking for longer time frame traders to adjust inventory. And that's what these weekly kickoff levels represent, are areas that I believe longer time frame traders will want to, need to, or be forced to adjust inventories in those longer time frames, important inflection levels. The upside auction is continuing, ladies and gentlemen, and it seems to be performing pretty well. When there's a directional move, you're always asking yourself, what direction is this market attempting to go, and how good of a job is it doing going in that direction? And for the last 3 months, I've been saying gold has been doing a pretty good job, and it seems to continue to be doing a pretty good job of auctioning higher and higher pricing. Here's the 30-minute chart. Lots of weak structure down below. If this thing turns around, there's lots of visuals for this market to target if we do end up getting a really big pullback on this. But what we're seeing in volume and price and open interest and negative delta day over day, this thing is just continuing to build new business to the upside. And today we've opened above the range from yesterday. So we have gap rules. If we can't close the gap relatively early, we look for the market to continue in the direction of the gap, which would have us looking higher. We've already seen some pretty decent upside price action. We've got our all-time high, which was in the overnight session, right up here at $2,801.7, $2,800 170, and that is these all-time highs that occur in the overnight session tend not to be lasting highs as well. So, market is open with a gap. We haven't been able to close the gap. Looking for opportunities, possibly for longs, and that all changes upon reacceptance and value from yesterday. Value high, 2782.90. We start to accept below that. Then I think we're looking at maybe a little bit of a pullback. We don't know. It's all about context. To me, this market, the auction process in gold has been performing very well for a long period of time. I don't know when it is going to run out of buyers. I don't know when sellers are going to take control. Just the probabilities and the nuances are saying to me that we're not there yet. Not there yet. And when I do say things like that, the market loves to make a liar out of me. We don't know when that's going to happen. So the profile yesterday, double distribution, trend day higher, kind of a P shape in that, which is not really supported. P shaped profiles would be short covering profiles when we added 23,000 contracts approximately yesterday to the long side in gold. Well, all those longs yesterday still getting paid. Overnight inventory long, probably reconciled here just before the open, back to even as far as inventory is concerned in the short time frame, leaving those shorter time frame traders available to affect price. And right now, so far, they've been affecting price to the upside. Watch the overnight high. That'll be an interesting spot. That's what we're looking at here. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, take a deep breath before you start trading. Always stay humble, grateful, creative, and centered in your trading. By all means, pray for peace every day. We need all the prayers we can get. Let's have a great trading day. I'm excited today.
I'm excited too, Hogue. And I'm especially excited because we're going to get out of here so we can get in before the bell with our next guest, which, as mentioned, Nick for a Tick, star of the market kickoff, which you can see every Sunday at 4:45 p.m. Central right here on our YouTube channel. He is at Nick for a Tick on Twitter and just earned the new XFA yesterday. I can see him in the green room. He's smiling. He's happy about earning that XFA. Also joining us will be Jared J. He's from Kansas City, Missouri. Currently awaiting the launch of his new live funded account. Trying to bounce back from a little loss yesterday. It's his first time on fast markets, so let's make him feel welcome. Later on today, we got David Green stopping by. We got Dakota stopping by. We got tons of guests, so stick around. It's going to be a great All Hallows Eve, I think today is. So sit back, relax. We'll be back in a few seconds with the opening bell and fast markets here on Topstep TV. Let's go!
All right, folks, get your sliders into the gates.
Oh, I like it. Welcome, everybody, to Topstep. Yep, welcome, everybody. There it is. Welcome, everybody, to Topstep TV. This is Fast Markets. We are now open. We got Jared in the house. We got Nick for a tick. We got MP in the house as well. Let's get going right away. Hogue, what are we looking at here? Oh, you're on mute. All right, MP, what do we got here? MP,
right,
we got
focus
Jared.
We're looking at Hoagland jumping back in here. That's what we're looking at.
All right, let's go.
Yes, there you go. All right, so similar situation in the NASDAQ and the S&Ps. We looked above yesterday's weak highs in the overnight session. These weak highs up here probably aren't going to be lasting highs. We're right in the middle of the range from yesterday. We're inside value, which usually says to me at the open here, try and stay a little bit patient. We're probably going to find better trade locations as the day goes on. We started pushing lower after that GDP number came out, some kind of unnerving numbers in that. There's so much information coming at these markets between earnings, between economic information. Here's the NASDAQ. We've opened here at the low of the overnight session, right in the middle of potential repair, inside range, inside value says to me, there's going to be better trade locations later on in the session. Probably not right off the open here, but there's going to be better trade locations as the day goes on. So for me, I'm going to remain patient, let this market settle in a little bit, and then find opportunities as the day goes on.
Let's do it. All right, we got some gold sell. Hey, by the way, gold new all-time highs. Gold, get your air horns out. 28.01 last trade.
We got some divergence on that because silver is down quite a bit already for the day.
Silver is down big on the day.
Yeah. And gold is like, even though in the overnight it hit all-time highs, yet it quickly reversed, I would say.
Jared, this is me and new, this is new for me. You on here? Give me your background. Tell me a little bit about you, real quick. Real quick, because get the market moving.
All right, real quick. Options trader, did that all wrong. Finally decided trading's really hard, and I got a lot to learn. So I jumped in. This is probably 4 or 5 years ago. Jumped in deep, grabbed every book, found that every indicator is pretty much junk out there, and that you actually have to understand what you're doing. You have to practice. You have to build a strategy. You have to be a business owner, and then you have to figure out how you're going to do that business.
I like that. Eddie, that's a big thing. Eddie's always said, my old man was always of that. He's like, You're a business owner, and the things that you do, grab the broom. If it's a dirty floor, start sweeping. Blah blah blah. From the very bottom, the very top row, you're responsible for them all. Buck stops with you. A better line of business and trading is it takes pretty much exercise.
The worst thing about trading is that you are the business owner, your own boss, and the employee. So not only do you have to be strategic, but then you have to be tactical, and then you have to remind yourself to stick to the strategy. It's the worst in the one way. It's the best of best because you can walk away when you want to. But again, how many of us walk away when we want to for the day? And at the same time, how many of us are reminding us you're not going to win unless you stick to your strategy?
So really quickly, again, that's very helpful. You're trading what? You're in what account? How long you been with that? How long you been trading at Topstep?
Yeah, so been with Topstep almost 2 years now, and so just switched to live funded last week. Haven't traded in that yet, but the great thing about Topstep was that one, it forced me to realize I don't have a plan, I don't have a strategy, and so it really kind of took me that long. I'm a very curious person. If there's danger or fear in it, then I say, let's go. Let's see if we can do it, which is great when you're on the ski slopes, anything like that. I'm a snowboarder. So I love that, right?
All right.
Let's, anybody says, hey, you can't do that. I'm like, hold my beer, right? Well, in trading, that doesn't work.
Where's he going?
So I really had to change my personality when it came to trading. Still be curious.
What do you think about this board? You like LibTech. What do you ride?
I literally have a LibTech 500, I think. I love it.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. We'll talk that. We got a soft going off.
All right. So you found a common bond here.
What product are you watching right now?
InQ. So I am very curious about the level right where it's at right now, the 620s. And the reason being is it's just below the expected day move. And we got some other levels there. I'm not saying that I would buy it, but I'm saying I'm really curious about it. But right now, it's still continuing to go down. So either we try to get in short and go with the flow, or we are hoping to catch a reversal.
Okay, so when you're looking at it right now, go ahead. I'll let house account manager. Like John's really jumping in here as a house account manager. He's going to pull out the thoughts and opinions that Nick for Tick has, you have, and on the markets, whether it's I like this area, I do like this area I'm looking at, sit on my hands, blah, blah, blah. But this is going to help people more and more here that tune in, understand the minds of traders that we bring up to the live funded account. That is very, very special moment for everybody to have, is to get in the head of a live funded. If Jared's getting called up, that's a good thing. So we can talk more about his call up a little bit later. But
so on the ES, the 5860 level has a high volume level for 0 DTEs and also another level for some other stuff. And I would consider it also some support and resistance. So to me, if we lose 5875, we got problems. On the ES.
75. All right.
Back to your idea in the NASDAQ, I was just looking at that, and that level you were mentioning, right around 20,614, 610, that area, that's the 100-session moving average on the 30-minute chart. It would be contrary to price action at this time, but if we do see some sort of reversal from that area, then that might be an idea to take along, but I don't see it just yet. Not really seeing that level personally in the S&Ps. We do have the 200-session moving average on the 30-minute chart. That's 58.65. You were mentioning 58.75. Losing that level would be a bad thing, right?
Yep. So I say we try to get short to go with the flow.
Well, when you say get short, go with the flow, I like that on a momentum play, but what's the risk play? Well, where does that
firm up? Do you want on NQ or
stop you out and then say, hey, you were wrong? Stop. What would stop place to be?
Jared?
So on NQ, what if we go short around 638.25?
Okay. And then you have a risk that you're risking. Do you typically do risk in dollar amounts? Do you do them in or both in price levels, areas?
Ticks. So I do my risk in ticks. Yeah. So my entry has to usually afford me only 20 or 30 ticks risk.
Got it. Okay, cool.
All right.
So what do you
tick?
You got?
Go ahead, MP.
Go ahead. No, Dre, go ahead.
No, I was saying once Jared gets called up to the big leagues, he's going to be number 65 on the leaderboard. 65 on the leaderboard. We got a top 100 trader in the house. We got for a tick, top 10 trader. Yeah, we're bringing the big boys on board today at Topstep TV. Nick for Tick, come on. What's going on, my man?
Well, I'm currently short from the overnight. I'm having trouble sleeping. I got a lot on my mind these days as I'm in this countdown to, having my first child. So I was trading last night around 3 a.m. for the London Open quietly. I've been short since 760s. I just covered one down here, excuse me, for about 2,500, and I'm letting these ride, to be honest. I would not be shocked if we can break 600 here, that we unwind majority of yesterday's slow grind up, even the earnings pop that we've already kind of, unwound from Google and AMD. So would not be shocked to see us rotate back into kind of yesterday's opening range, at least the first, initial balance period, the 30-minute opening range, whatever you want to call it, back down towards 526s. I think Hogue and I have been shouting 530s for the last month. So I would not be shocked to see us go all the way down towards there. And that's what I'm looking for, honestly, as a full cover of this position.
Bears in the house.
Man,
okay, Hogue.
That's a wonderful position. I might have to stop sleeping.
Well, it's funny. I've been very.
Well, I mean, Nick's going to be stopped sleeping here soon.
I've not been trading I've not been. Let me put this a different way. I have been reading the market very well. I have been executing my trades very poorly and managing them very poorly the last couple of weeks. And a lot of the time that has come down to the move has happened in the pre-market or in the London session. And then we've kind of just chopped around RTH, and I have been a victim of getting chopped up, not letting certain trades ride and just trying to get into moves too late and be on the wrong side of them. So I just, when you see something and you're not sleeping well and you've been struggling, I'm going to kind of let this trade play out a little bit.
All right.
Very nice. Nicely done.
Shorts. The shorts are paying. If we took those shorts, they will be paying last trade 20,594. Again, we're looking for baby preps 20,530. Jared, we didn't. Did you take the short, Jared? If you do, Jay,
No.
anytime you are going to take a trade, please holler it out. Let us know so we put it up on the board. Again, this is currently going from XFAs.
Hey,
Funds are being transferred into live.
Do you
What's
guys
up,
have
Jared?
anything at 576 on the NQ?
5 what?
Right there, 576.
Yeah, the next layer down is going to be that 550s to 530 spot.
I have a serious itch to try to get in at 576 long.
I mean, I can
Ooh,
see
you're
it's
getting it from-
it's an LVN on a longer time frame, and then we do have last week's value area
Never
high
mind.
at 550s.
Yeah. It just went poof down through it.
562 was last
I
week's
mean,
high.
it's holding up at 68 thus far. So
Yeah, it is. You called that short nicely, Jared. Value area low. Yesterday, value area low, 576. Nick, you'll see pinned to the top of the chat. You got Topstep daily levels. I've got those open. MP's got them open. Hope definitely has open. All right, we're still got some more selling here in the NASDAQ. 20,000. Hey, 570s. 62s hold back up to the 70s. Found buyers.
62 is
Yes,
last week's
below-
high.
ES
I'm
being
not ready
below
to
my
buy
weekly
this thing
pivot
yet.
from Sunday at 58.60s also makes me a little bearish. It's kind of been that level we've struggled to get up above or below, kind of chopped around for the last few sessions. So same thing here. The longer we are below 58.60s, the more I'm thinking maybe more downside here.
This
Is anybody watching gold right now?
Do you get an air horn?
Oh, tell us what's going on, gold.
No. Here.
Nothing.
So
Nothing.
the market left the opening range at the low of the session. There's that opening range. Okay. The high of the opening range, 27,887. Market looked higher, came back, closed the gap to yesterday. The gap close was 27,849, traded into value and is now rejecting value, potentially leaving a failed downside auction. This market, gold, has been performing, I think, very well to the upside. This nice little failed downside auction does offer opportunity. If we're in the mind to think about that, we've got about 7 minutes to find out for sure if there's any confirmation that this will, with great likelihood, remain a failed downside auction. I will keep an eye on that, and if it offers opportunity, I'll bring it up. See what the experts think here.
Still selling off here. Jared, what do you want to get short from? You want to give Jared, right, 530s incoming. 530s incoming, perhaps along here, guys. I know 530s are a key level for the last, 2-3 weeks. For a tick, we're coming on 530s last trade, 545. What do we think?
I think we might base there a little bit, at least for the next 10 or so minutes. If we get down there, I would be shocked to see us kind of chop around base and try to find buyers in that spot. Let's see if they do show up. If not, this could get ugly. But I am seeing them step on the tape a little bit right here at that 550s, last week's value area high spot. We just had talked about that. So buyers trying right here, right now to potentially push us back in, probably above that 570 spot we were just talking about.
This is one of those classic scenarios where if you don't know how to get into the market, this is like, I totally see this about myself. If you don't have a strategy or plan to get in alignment with the market, with the price action, whatever that is, then you default to the next thing, and that is picking the top or the bottom. I don't know why that's human nature, but it's just one of those things. It's like when we don't know what to do, then we just try to do the next thing that's obviously in front of us, which is right now we see a bottom but that's all we see right now. In the candle hasn't even finished, as an example. So that's one thing that I've definitely noticed about myself. Unless there's a strong reason or you have a strategy that says, okay, this is why I'm picking this level, and I know this level has a 70% probability.
I like that. We miss out on the momentum. Your next plan is, where do I call the top or the bottom? Actually, doesn't make sense.
Call bottoms, things like in this regime.
I've definitely done that before. Definitely, Jared's spot on. Who said that in the chat? Alexander Kennedy. Yes, pretty much spot on. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Shoot, I can't get
Currently
with
at
the
the
Mo.
200
So
session moving average on the 30-minute chart in the NASDAQ. Relatively close to that 530 level. Let's see if we do find some basing here.
all right, perhaps a long down here. Hogue, look at Top Step daily levels. What do we
Yeah,
do with that,
can't do it
Hogue?
yet, but
530s.
be interesting.
Big fat round number. All right, Michael. 15 minutes in. See the upper left-hand corner, hashtag fast markets.
Oh, yeah.
We're kind of doing hashtag power hour. Hit us up at Topstep TV on X. I think we crossed over 1,800 followers already on the X. Here's some cool stuff. We'll turn that around to you guys in power hour today. Again, don't forget, we got Alex Ferreira, the Olympic medalist, half pipe skier. That's half pipe, super pipe skier, not a half pipe skier. He's a super pipe skier.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Super's bigger, super way bigger.
Super's bigger. I think it's deeper and bigger. The biggest, I think the biggest super pipe in the world is here in Buttermilk, where X Games
the
is,
most famous,
where he'll be competing, where he has won gold.
Super pipe.
I'll be, I'm meeting up with him in a couple hours.
Sure.
Do a little walk and talk.
So the question is,
Sliding my stop down a little bit.
is this
What do you win?
building
This is
another
short. What do you
little?
win?
Go ahead.
Nick, what's your position? We got you short 2. 759. You dirty dog. When you get short those?
That's the 3 a.m.
You
trade.
short those. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
And the
That's
overnight,
the
man, I
3
couldn't sleep.
Good morning. My goodness. Good morning, Nick.
Right?
Wow. All right, dude.
We want to see pictures of you holding the baby while it's sleeping, maybe a bottle in its mouth, and you trading. We want at 3 a.m.
There will be. I will be telling Dee that I can jump onto the London session as she's behind me in a baby Bjorn, like bouncing passed out with a passy in her mouth or something, as I'm degenning NQ probably. I think that's very likely here in Q4.
Incredible.
You got to pay for the
go,
diapers
dude.
somehow.
Right?
Yeah, Nick, I don't know if I completely agree with your strategy. Like five or 3 kids into it, 5 years after having my first kid. Sleep as much as you gosh darn can possibly handle. Be as lazy as you possibly can handle. Do not do it. Like, just do nothing. Like that is the way that you'll never have ever again.
Just enjoy nothing, huh? Nice little bounce there. We bounced from the 42s all the way up to 82s. Big bounce there. We never got to the 530s in the NASDAQ. They preempted that.
MP, I'm not as optimistic about my trading performance over the next couple months. I'm definitely going to be winding it down. Come back hopefully in January as I'm more comfortable, a little more rested, and we have a better routine, and she's more comfortable too.
Well, one big thing too, my little recommendation having a kid is trading. I don't know, you're pretty even keeled, but everybody feels emotions. Trading brings out emotions in you. And he's a newborn, or it's boy or girl? Boy, girl. Okay, cool. She's a newborn. Last thing you want to do is pushing that energy, whatever energy you have, and usually it's never satisfied when you're trading world, so it's not the most chippery every day. Pushing it on them, so you gotta be careful with that one.
Listen to you, babe. Blame the baby.
Yeah, because I mean, you bring it home, you're actually at home, so blah blah blah. So you get that.
Yep,
guys, I'm watching somebody else the 600 level to see if we potentially can the 600 level on the NQ to see if we can get short again.
Ooh,
and the reason being is because we've moved.
Oh, jump in here.
You know, we're not down like 10%. We didn't have a little overnight dip, right? We fell out. So there's going to be a little pullback, but we're still under what VWAP. We're still under the 1 minute EMA or the 21 EMA on the 1 minute, which I use constantly. So for me, I still
why the 600 level?
I have a level here. It's called a blind level. That's a significant. The EMA is at the 600, and the VWAP, the session VWAP or the RTH session VWAP is at 605.
And point of control is there, and there's a low volume node there. I kind of like that level to see if we can kind of get a short up against that level.
Right, MP.
Nick, are you seeing anything there?
1,600.
At the 600 spot, we do have, it is kind of going to be converging with the weekly VWAP from the Sunday Open as well as the RTH one thus far, kind of in that same general spot too. So I wouldn't be shocked to see us come up there.
And if you look at the bigger time frame, yeah, go ahead.
Jared, what would you do to manage the risk at that level?
Yeah, so if I'm looking at the 2 minute here, I'm probably going to try to get short. I have this big bar, impulse bar right here.
Hundreds incoming. MP.
Yep. So I would have my stop just above at 615.
It's a nice low risk play.
And I'm not fighting the market. So I'm going to try to get in at 607, 75, and then 615.25 is my stop.
All
Very
right.
tight.
So
I like it.
That's pretty tight, though. That's pretty tight, but you're trying to catch the very
tight.
corner of this, right?
Yep, that's right.
1 second.
And so what I'm
Got it. That's
like,
called
hoping for,
carve the market up if you can get it. If you can get these low risk entries, and then those are real fun trading days.
Yeah,
Yep.
they are.
and we have a drop
Good turn.
base and then hopefully another drop.
I mean, it's
Well, we
it's
got
low volume.
how about this? We got tilt on 74% long right now. So tilt is starting to
Ooh,
the community
confirmation.
out there that is either listening and watching and
Here
or
we are.
not.
Jared, you in?
Yeah, we're right.
Nope.
He was looking at the 607s, I think.
It got
Right to your RTH VWAP right there and rejected off of it so far.
Yeah, it didn't quite make it to the level.
Go threes.
It might try again. I'm gonna wait just a second.
Okay. We do have a
Delta
failed
isn't
downside
jumping.
auction in gold right now.
We get it.
Failed downside in gold. Gold.
We take the 600s. We're waiting for 607.
I'm still
The man,
606.
the man with the
75
plan
myself.
was talking 607s.
You're like, okay. I like it to the tick. We might get another here. Hogue, we're getting short from 607.
That's what the man says.
Now, this
I
starts to. Now,
got good
does that
reasons,
change
got
for
good
you?
risk.
While we're staying patient, waiting for this, does this change for you, Jared? Do you ever go by JJ? You got 2 J's.
Yeah, that totally works.
I love
I wouldn't be the first. Yeah. Will Smith was up to bat last night for the Dodgers. You think he's ever been called Will Smith? You know,
Fresh Prince.
come on.
But he's been called Fresh Prince. Here we go. 606, 605 trade. Get it up to the
come
607.
on! Oh, it didn't. I'm off one tick.
Well, you're watching the
Very
Dodgers
precise.
yesterday, huh? You were watching
Come
the
on,
Dodgers.
it'll
All
get
right,
it.
so
I'm
we
not
just
moving.
we're
We're
you're
in?
not. Okay, we're out. Right. Now we're out.
Should be in
All
now.
right, I've got filled.
Okay, so do I.
At
All right, what do we get, guys?
606.75.
That's pretty much 607s. All right, Michael, how many were we short?
We're short 10 from 3 half. 3 half.
Dude,
20,000.
you didn't tell me you're going 10 deep.
Don't worry
the
about
big leagues.
Oh, we keep that out of the conversation so it doesn't. We'll go micro if we want to go micro. We'll go
Exactly.
100 if we want to go. We're set up to do whatever, kind of whatever whichever way the wind's blowing of risk out.
Hello, man. Fred. Good to see you, man, Fred. Good to see you in the chat. All right, how's it count short? 10 from 20,603. Oh,
Where do we currently have the order that shall not be named?
17 because he was talking 15s, but that needs to stay fluid, and I need to know that, and then I need to know target areas. This is tight, so that's the
It is tight.
Out. I'm sure. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, it'll take me out.
what's that?
My trailing just got tagged.
You're talking 15. Hoagland, I need your backup on this. Was it 15s? Was
Yeah.
it 21s?
I mean, I like 20s probably better
20s.
for the stop. That's going to be another high volume node. It's got to get all the way through this low volume node, but we do now have a 3-bar reversal on the 5-minute chart.
Yeah. Do you know what just traded right here? Do you guys want to know what just traded right now? 21's traded. I can't even see it. We got stopped out. 21's traded.
Man, did they really?
Like prior to that, when it was trading 18, it did a little.
Oh, here it goes.
And 21.
That's why I covered. This is why I hate shorts, man. It's just ridiculous.
We do have a 3-bar reversal now in the 5-minute chart in the NASDAQ.
Yeah, you
so I'm flat up the 83.70s.
You got flat on that? All right, cool.
Shorts, man.
Now you have tilt getting super long. It's like super long. I say micros is 78%. 5% long bias minis, NASDAQ. Average price 08s, 003s. So in the range, 20,600.
20,629. Now 630 trade. What a V shape house. Look at the S&P shot out of the cannon. 5870.
I hate shorts.
5070. Jeez.
They're not natural.
Just a ho-hum 25-point bounce here in the S&P. It's just no big deal.
I welcome the day we actually finish minus 2% on the day versus dropping down 2.5% in the NASDAQ and then closing down 1% because we V-shaped at some point by lunch.
Man.
We still on, Rockstar says. Rockstar says we still on. I feel.
Could be right.
They squeeze you quickly here in these new V Valor. V is for victory. V is for vendetta. V is for Valor.
Now,
lots of things.
3-bar reversal in the NASDAQ. We got a failed downside auction in gold. What are we doing next?
What are we doing next? 72% long on the tilt. Looks like all the numbers are pretty much in the rear view mirror. We had ADP this morning. We had GDP as well. Hogue, what do we think about GDP? Any thoughts on what the number came out there? You're getting short again, Jared?
Yep. And my stop is at 41.5.
Yeah, I don't mind still trying to short this, but it's just hard. Especially when we have Microsoft and Meta on deck too. It could very much be like yesterday with you. You had positive out of Google. Why wouldn't single stock call buying be occurring today in Meta and Microsoft as well to just kind of keep us afloat in the Mag 7 and continue this run to the top side? Nothing would shock me.
Google's
up 5%.
GDP was obviously a disappointment. I'm not sure I like shorts here because we do have a 3-bar reversal, and on the 30-minute, the price targeted and bounced directly off of the 200 session moving average. We talked about that. It's 544.
Number 1 minute, guys.
Oh, now he tells me that after I go short.
Yeah, guys, we need a heads up. Production, 5-minute head up. Eddie's great on that. We need 5 minutes heads up. JJ even got caught on that one too. So did I.
I got my financial juice off right now so I can focus on you guys.
Yeah.
The juice.
And we just 20,000 listen here. Home sales in 1 minute.
Pending home sales, not new home sales. These are pending home sales. The ones that have already been on the market, Michael.
And that the tape isn't really thinning out much, so I'm not going to sweat it. I'm staying in my short.
Your stop.
You're short from what price?
41.5.
Okay. 623. All right.
I would maybe wait if I wasn't already in it, but
what a pop!
There it goes.
Wow!
Never getting short again. Never getting short again, man. Never. Betting against America. Betting against America. And look at the Dow.
Back to settlement.
Boom.
There
we go.
Right back to the overnight low.
I know. It went right to 42s.
Oh.
Dow on an absolute
Has it even come out? It's not doing a tear like it typically would.
No, it's not that big of a number. But let's see. Did it come out?
It's just going to squeeze.
Pending home sales change month over month, 7.4%. They were looking for 1.9%. Much bigger than expected.
It's much bigger. To the moon. Here we go. Almost like they had the number. It's almost like they had the number. 77% long in the NQ. Last trade, 20,635. Well, we keep pushing. Last trade in the ES, 58.70.
So here might be one theory for this week, because this week's just been rough, right? Everybody's kind of complaining about this week. So everybody's positioned, or like options markets are positioned in anticipation for next week. Like the positioning on them, if you look at it as far as like the put call skew, it's just insane what's positioned for next week. So basically everything has to stay kind of within line this week in anticipation for next week to keep the delta neutral and, you know, gamma and all that kind of stuff. So until next week, it's probably there's going to be hardly any conviction in price action all week long, and it's just going to be, we're going to feel constant hedging all week long, which basically feels like we're just getting slapped around the whole time. Does that sound about right?
I'll be wrong.
Sounds right to me. I mean, when we look at the S&Ps, it's been very range bound for the last, few sessions. We're right in the middle of that range. The market is just kind of idling, waiting for new information.
Yeah.
Here's the daily.
And I think you can feel when the hedging, the delta hedging is going on like aggressively, because there's just normally when like a certain level is broken, you'd be like, okay, now we're actually going to get some momentum. And instead we don't. We just immediately get slapped. And it's not normal range bound where you like kind of hit the sides of the barrel. It's more of just this really random, because people are kind of hyper focused and risk adverse, or all the different hedging, and so it's just they're like completely on top of it.
Yeah. Royce Hill goes, we're in a short squeeze, fellas. That's kind of hard. It's kind of hard because like when do you like? We're always in a short squeeze. If we want to go
Hold on to the daily chart.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
I mean,
And hindsight capital trading here. I mean, we to the tick almost bounced off last week's value area high and just shot out of a cannon. So still NGI ruling this market, and when you bounce off value area high like that, that just says like the market is one time framing higher on the following week. So we're building volume above last week's range basically and continuing the move up. So you should be long in theory. If we bounce off that, I should have covered and got out of my trade and look for longs, because that's where buyers are showing up, the top of last week's range.
Does anybody feel like going short at 58.75?
You want to get short again?
I do, and I have a reason for it. All right, so on the 5 minute, we have a green bar right here, and then we had an impulse down, and we had 3 impulse red bars down below that.
Right.
So can we get short in that? And it's right back at RTH open.
all right, let's do the same thing, because we're going to play we're going to play flexible bias here.
Yeah.
Tell me why a long's a good trade right now. Tell me why a long would be a good trade right now.
For me,
we're in this victory. We're in this victory formation. Well, that's kind of the part where I like to do that. Is it challenges us to like not get so biased. Like a flexible bias is what I always learn in trading is very good to have. Because like anything can, anything can happen. But
so maybe
you're talking 58.
Yep.
I'm just going to do a little one lot right here. I'm just doing one lot short just to put a line in the sand on your 58. One lot short with a 20 tail. So while you're talking about this, talk me into why a long, and then we'll still be able to play this out.
All right. So the reason to go along is the price action is indicative of short covering, and it's very strong, and you don't want to go against it.
Okay. Anything else?
Nvidia was pulled down by AMD and is like a beach ball underwater. Another reason to go long. It's off its lows.
Ooh, you're calling Nvidia getting pulled down a beach ball underwater. That is very bold.
That's pretty good. I know exactly what that means.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I've never heard that before, but I get it.
But
I've never heard that before, but I know exactly.
1.5%. It was down almost
Instantly,
2%.
you know what it means. Yeah.
Likely just from the weakness in AMD. So why wouldn't people pile in and buy the dip like they already have so far this morning? Back to 140s, which seems to be a relatively new area of interest that we've been having the last couple sessions. I don't know. We'll see.
How's the count short a oneer from what we got? S&Ps or NQ?
75 was it?
58,
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, when I put that on, it was 62 evens. Is when he was talking about 58. When we were talking about talking why long. Now, right now we're just sitting around 62. So it's squeezed. Now it's pausing. This isn't. Yeah, I won't even call this a pause yet because it's not consolidation.
20,670.
Yeah.
Oh, remember we talked about like does this base at 550s before we find buyers? It didn't. It just V'd right out of that.
Mm-hmm.
We really didn't even have a chance to kind of think about it. It's really watch and see buyers stepping in and trying to defend it. No, we just took off. Yeah,
it just ended and ran the other direction. And it was right off that session moving average on 30 minutes. And then it set up a 3-bar reversal on the 5-minute chart. We're still holding over
to the tick
under overnight session VWAP and the NASDAQ, but we've given up both regular session VWAP and overnight session VWAP in the S&Ps. S&Ps are now above settlement. Pretty good move there. I haven't gotten back to settlement in the NASDAQ yet.
NQ is struggling at the opening range high here. It was the dead ass high of that open anyway, and then we kind of just melted off of it. But so far, struggling. Sellers kind of stepping in, defending.
What is it?
Still has like a 70% bias to the long side. 70% bias to the long side.
How's it got short from? Until 20,662. Last trade 20,659. Low of day 20,542. Just a casual 100-point bounce going into that pending home sales number. That came out much better.
Yeah, Nick holds a 100-point trade from 3 a.m. Instead, I could have just longed. 550 and then a 100-point trade in 5 minutes and not stressed about it.
Last 15 minutes going into that number, we just bounced 100 points casually. I wonder why. It's like they knew. All right, 20,662.
This is still the Coda mindset. Where do you buy it?
Pretty much.
That's the only thing you should be looking for. Where do you buy it? And I hate it.
Why are traders all inherently bulls? Why are most traders inherently bulls? I just don't.
I was bear. Until
MP's
July.
A bear.
July broke
You're
me.
a bear. Didn't COVID break anyone?
Because you
are bears.
Because after you're trading for a while, you just want the whole world to fall apart.
Why are you guys all bears? Like what? I mean, it's just a COVID broke me. I was a bear until COVID. I said,
it slides faster than it glides.
We're in August and we get the August low and I'm like, okay, great. We're going to have some two-way trades. No, it just goes up and to the right nonstop since then. It's like, I don't even get days to kind of do two-way rotation type trades to catch large moves going both directions. Maybe a swing short at some point with options. Nope. Can't happen.
No, cannot. All right.
We're very
all right, Robert, come on. I don't think we got EIA crude numbers here at the bottom of the hour, so that's not until about 20 minutes. I want to bring Robert. We got some top 5 live, ready to go, ready to rock. Robert, come on in. What's happening, man? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, Robert.
Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, and happy bounce day on that NQ. Is that something? Like a blink of an eye, 100 points. What the hell is going on with that damn thing? All right, so what we have, we know what's going on with our top 5 live funded traders, and here we go. Let's pop that graphic up there. Thank you very much. I love these guys back here. Faye, this is the talk of the town right now. Faye is up $12,600 her live account. We love that. You're going to see her name coming up on the big board, so make sure you stick
Is
around
Faye
for
the gold
that.
trader?
But what I want to say, I'm sorry?
Is Faye the gold trader?
Yes. Faye's
Okay.
a gold trader. Good, yeah, good memory. Now, what I like about Faye, 55 days in live, has taken $70,000 at $69,996, but $70,000 in payouts to date. And the best day for Faye was September 20th, 28,000. So we're talking just about halfway there with yesterday's profits. And of course, we have Caleb up there. You can see that name again. Alcaron's been on there before. Nicholas and Zachary, those names have been up there before. But Faye, we have to give a shout out to Faye, doing absolutely fantastic. We're going to back out just for one moment, update and overlay. We'll be right back in with the XFAs.
Thanks, Robert. Man, Balcaron. I see that name more often than not lately. Faye killing it in the gold. Just buy, hold it overnight, and watch it make new highs. Get the air horn out. Yeah. Like to see the
You're not
breakdown
wrong,
of
Andre.
Faye's. Like to see Faye's breakdown, long versus shorts in gold, under gold trades, which you can do. Go click on your performance dashboard analytics on TopstepX. Look at your long
We've been
shorts.
talking about it. I want to see gold at 3,000.
It's coming. It's coming. I mean,
yeah.
End of year.
I said Q1, Q2. It'll be there.
Yeah. All right. Last trade in the NQ 20,670. Last trade in the ES 5878. Dow just shot. I can no insight on the Dow. What's up?
Balcaron, by the way, OG Topstep. He is one of the top 5 all time as far as payouts combined with account balance.
Nice.
I've been hearing that name for years now. Balcaron. All right, here comes some sellers. Will they win this time? NQ. Last trade, 20,662. Look at the tilt. Got 72% long on the crude oil. Last trade in crude, $68.22. Come on in. What do we got? What are we looking here for top XFAs? Come on in, Robert.
Okay, here we have it. Nick, you asked about some information here, and Faye's winning percentage is 75, and she only takes 3, 2, and 1 trade a day, and that is in gold, as you had known. And win rates are 75%. Before that, 100%. Before that, 100%. Before that, 100%. Before that, 100%. So she is definitely doing a great job at this. So what can you say about that? Okay, so here's the XFAs. We had to give you an update, right? Saeed. Number 1 spot. I'm going to show all these top 5. They're all single XFAs. There's no copy trading on this. Saeed's the talk right now. And the XFA, 16 trades in NQ. Get this, 81% win rate. But as I always say, you need to talk about the risk reward as well, because you can have an 81% win rate and a negative risk reward and you are screwed. But no, 10 reward to 1 risk. So it's a 10 to 1 R&R ratio with an 81% win rate. The average winning trade, $2,969. Average losing trade, $267. So congratulations to Saeed. That is 1 XFA right there. No copy trading on any of these. Diana made it up on the list. Vikram made it up. Oscar, and we've seen Benoit before also. Congratulations to all the XFAs.
Order filled.
Hey, well done. Well done. JJ gives a double fist pump there. All right, JJ, I'm calling you JJ now, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
What's up, Pete? All right, JJ, what do we got here? You got JJ short. JJ, you flat? Hey, got you.
I'm short, still at the 250 or 658.75.
658.75. How many times?
One lot. My conviction is strong. My stop is at 677.75.
Just the other side of overnight session VWAP, right? Did it have anything to do with your decision to short that?
It didn't. Sorry. Not this.
That's all right. Just asking.
Cracks me up. All right, MP, how's the count short from 662? Hey, watch out for that Dow. The Dow, there's no stopping that thing right now.
No. So what I see in the NASDAQ on the tape, so I see that it's probably someone's shooting for higher up at some point at like 674, 75. But we might get a little pullback. And what I'm going to be watching is if this 645 level holds, 650, 645. If that holds, then probably the short's not going to work. And the reason being is because I have an EMA right there at the 647.
Right. People were fired up yesterday, MP. A little bit more chill today, maybe because it's a Wednesday. We got some heavy earnings after the bell. We got Meta. We got Starbucks. We got Microsoft after the bell today. We're just getting started. Earnings season is off and running, MP. I know you love a good earnings season.
Oh yeah, I do.
Good time that
If I can
Tesla.
So many billions you brought in.
Nick, do you see the volume bubbles at the highs here in the S&Ps on the daily, on the session chart? Like there's the high volume node is 58.78.5. Well, maybe a little bit of buy iceberging up here.
Yeah, and the point of control for yesterday was right around there too, if I recall. Ton of volume up here, and we continue to build and move a little bit higher. Yeah, definitely some buy iceberging there, about 1,500 positive delta and building off that spot, that 78, 79 spot. And off to the races we go.
Off the races.
See if NQ wants to catch up.
Yeah, NQ. Someone's got to nudge NQ. Wake up a little bit. NQ stuck at VWAP. VWAP
Hey, JJ, I know you got we both got this short on. House is just really light. Sorry. House is really light on it. But we're drawing the line and staying with you. But while we're talking about that, what's your balance on your live account that's being opened right now?
Roughly 50,000.
50. Have you taken any payouts yet?
Yeah, it took 15.
There you go.
I was at 67. Yes, no, I was at 60.
Very nice.
Nice work.
Sweet.
That's really good. So you're 65, 69 around. Yeah. I remember when I had the, it was literally like my dad goes, shoot or get off the pot. You need to decide if trading is for you or not. I was 23, 22, 23. So I'm like, that already blown out $330,000, so 90 grand. And it was my vending company money. I had to sell that company. But long story short, I then said, I'm going to keep pursuing trading. I went to Chicago and I learned on a simulator. And then when I was learning on a simulator, he's like, you need to decide if this is for you or not. I go, Dad, I love it. He's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, does it make you money? I'm like, God, okay. Real talk. Here we go, Dad. He's like, oh, your buddy making, 60, 70 grand coming out of college, blah, blah, blah. Which they were like, no, it was back in 2002. They're like 50, but I let him go with it. And then I go, fine, I'll make 75 this year. He's like, no, he's like, do you have a number? I'm like, no. He's like, I want to make, a really good amount of money. He's like, you don't even have a number on it. It got me into position. I'm doing this because your balance is 65, 70. When things turned around after I lost $330,000 trading account, it wasn't $1 million a year after that. Hell, I've never had $1 million a year trading. I've had 6-figure years consistently, mid 6-figure years. And there was $1 million traders, but I couldn't have that psychological swing. I didn't like that. So I would trade in the 1 to 10 lot range. They were like the 100 lot guys. But you have the 65,000. And for me, my first profitable year when I considered myself a trader and actually had a profitable year was $75,000 a year. And I told my dad I'd make 65. He's like, I go, okay, fine. I'm going to shoot for 65 this year. It was like the beginning of the year. It was like Christmas, around the table. Like, what the hell are you doing with your life? Conversation.
Wow. And, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. A lot of people have those on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah. What are you doing next year? Well, same thing. Well, same thing didn't pan out. Okay. So that really changed my game around. And I worked backwards. Sorry. I worked backwards.
Man.
How much do I have to make? And I got in the $100. It was like, I don't know, $150 a day. I don't even know if I can go back to 65 grand. It's probably less than that. I just need to average that. I need to have a batting average of this. And I put my batting average as what I needed to do, which is my daily trading P&L average. And that's where things changed when I actually brought my expectations way down to something attainable, like all my buddies did coming out of college. They got 9-to-5ers, W-2s. But no, I'm going to be a independent contractor trader over here, killing what I eat, eating what I kill, whatever it is.
Hockey, here I
Just got
come.
to stop down there. Yeah.
Yeah, good same. Yeah.
So,
So the good number. So my point is good number. You have 65, 70 grand that you just put together. Solid. I was off to the races after that.
Nice.
All right, Nick for a tick.
Yeah, it makes up a lot of losses.
Hey, Nick for a tick. S&Ps are about 6 points off the highs here. Dow's sitting at the highs. NQ hasn't quite gotten up there. It's a little bit choppier in the NQ. What's the next level we're looking for there, Nick, for a tick?
We want to see, does ES take out the previous day high here at 83 and a quarter? NQ, let's see, probably do we see it kind of come back to the bottom of the overnight consolidation range, that like 710 to 715 spot? That'd be the next area I'm watching.
JJ, can we get a P&L
Nick, you see
update,
that?
please, now that we're flat?
You see that week high we put in the S&P regular session yesterday? NASDAQ as well, week highs.
I didn't. I shut down yesterday.
You shut down. Shut down your machine, or you shut down physically, or you just kind of checked out, Nick?
All of the above. It's just not my. I missed.
I've been there.
So I was sitting on the bid at 430s yesterday, and the low of the day was 432. And then instead of doing what I need to learn how to do, which is, I guess, market in or not be such a D for a T, and just limit it a little higher and kind of let the trade still play out, if I'm that strong in my bias, instead of then waiting, hate watching it, and then getting chopped up trying to then, fade the opening range high and then fade another exhaustive move up. But then it just continues to grind. And we didn't really get any pullbacks to buy yesterday. You kind of had to close your eyes and buy the highs if you wanted to, make money yesterday. I think the pullbacks in NQ were like 10, 15 points at the most those days. It felt like the middle of summer.
Have you noticed this? Like, your brain, it just causes you to be just a slightly off, slightly delayed. Wow,
100%.
MP, what'd you give me now? And so, like, for me,
Right?
trading live on the session caused me to be just a little delayed, and those lows that we had today on the NQ, I was really feeling that. And we had an overnight high at that level, but I had already kind of said a couple things that had gone not well. And so then I just didn't say it and didn't stick with it. And then once that happens, it throws you off. And then now from then on, you're just basically toast. Have you noticed that? Like, and I'm wondering if you'll notice, like with the baby or something like that, if it'll just throw you off your game.
Yeah. I think it definitely can. If I know very quickly, like if it's just something I'm working on myself. If I miss those trades, rather than potentially saying like, hey, I might have missed the best setup of the day, let me just kind of wait and see if there's anything else, or just say, you know what, I missed it. No big deal. Come back tomorrow. Just because then we start getting out of my like hours that I'm a good trader in. It makes more sense to come back the next day versus just try to force trades like I kind of was doing pre-London close yesterday. And you just lose money and you get frustrated, and then you can, tilt off that versus just come back, wait for the next setup. Like, granted, the setup was in the pre-market or in the overnight for the next good trade that I was seeing. But I'm still learning things about myself. And I definitely think if you are not in the greatest headspace, and I think sleep deprivation that I'm going to be in the coming weeks is not going to help that cause either. So I probably will phone Mick and say, do not let me touch my live over the next until January. And I'm gonna do the show. I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna do some combines, but I am not putting large amounts of capital at risk over the next couple weeks.
Anything that's happening outside of trading in your life can certainly affect your life in trading. I mean, any major life changes, anything like that, you got to expect a little bit of a different decision making process when these things happen. JJ, you were saying, you were on this stream here, you were really feeling those lows in the NASDAQ and you hesitated because something else didn't go right? And maybe it's just being on the screen that it was part of that, of course. anything that affects that decision making process is going to affect it. Just one thing I want to point out: there's like 1,400 on the bid here in the S&Ps, 58.74 quarters. They just took some of them off. Hey, that's the alarm. We're 5 minutes from the EIA petroleum status report, guys.
No, Michael's favorite number. Marcus Stalker D's favorite number. Yeah, I know. Hey, JJ, can we get a P&L update really quick so we can update the board?
Oh, yeah. Negative 2,500.
Nice, 2,500. All right, let's dig ourselves out of the sucker.
We just went to settlement. On NASDAQ, 696.
Yes. Yes, we did.
The comment, these things in other, like snowboarding. Like if you've never snowboarded and you go to the slopes and you're falling down and everything, there's nothing consistent. So it's just like at the end of the day, you're exhausted, you're tired, you're beat up, and you maybe had fun. But if you've been consistently going and you know your skill, then you'll start noticing on one day, okay, maybe I'm a little tired, or maybe there's something extra in my pack. Like buddy says, hey, can you hold my jacket for me? Whatever, something like that. And it throws your weight off. And then you start noticing that. And like trading is, we want to think it's not. We want to think I can step into the market and force my way into it and force that money into my pocket. And it just doesn't work. And so then we start saying,
in the backpack so it doesn't throw your weight off.
put it in the center of the body.
I know you guys got in there.
Speaking of skiing and snowboarding, we got the star, the Topstep partner, recently introduced to the whole world last week. We got Alex Ferrer joining us at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. Oh, it's about 4.5 hours from now, or so 3.5 hours from now. Sure, you guys stay tuned for that. Talk about his trading, talk about his training as well. Got his training and his trading. Both. Watch, we're going to follow his journey.
Well, Andre, you want to hit a few news things? I see if I can squeeze them in right before the EIA.
Perfect timing, Jack. Yes, please. Come on in.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Unless you're trading crude. GDP numbers. Hoke and I talked about it this morning. Came in at 2.8, 2.9 was the forecast. What's new? Consumer spending advanced 3.7%, the most since 2023, and the GDP was held back by a wider trade deficit. That was the 730 number. As we also mentioned this morning, Google had great earnings, but a Russian court fined them $20 decillion.
Wow, that's a big number.
Followed by 34 zeros. It's more money than exists on planet Earth.
I mean, at that point, well, at that point, I'd pipe back and be like, "Yo, that's not real money anymore."
That number's too far. Never heard that.
Not real.
We're going to send you a message.
That's a lot of money, Michael.
Get interest on there too.
Yes.
2 minutes before the number, we also got the Yankees survived in Game 4 of the World Series, but also did the Yankeest thing ever. Have you seen these two goobers?
I love it. It's so Yankee. It's so Bronx. It's so New York. I love it.
It's awesome.
Watch the video. I can't show it, or MLB will drone strike my home. But check out the video of this guy.
So
He opened up the glove. I didn't see this. I watched the game last night.
To wedge it open.
See this one.
Give me that ball. Give me that.
Hey, this is my ball bear.
I mean,
give me that ball, Mookie.
They call it
against
man in football or in basketball, don't they?
And lastly, we talked about cocaine pizza in Germany last week, but United States has responded. A Wisconsin pizzeria has apologized for unintentionally contaminating their pizzas with THC oil.
What is going on?
Indeed, the people felt the effects, and that's when they realized that they had dosed themselves.
What is going on?
So they're dripping oil, or they just hot box the kitchen so much that it gets infused into the
what's hot boxing?
Oh, you know.
Yeah.
I was in high school once.
He drizzled the oil. All right, we got about 20 seconds right now until EIA, so I'll get out of here to eat some weed
Thank you,
pizza.
Chuck. All right,
The
EIA,
pizza
what's
makes you
expected
hungrier the more
here?
you eat it.
EIA 0.6 million barrels. And the gasoline, the crude, 1.8 million barrels. Previous was 5.47. This number is notoriously off from what's expected. Buckle up, folks. Let's see what they give us now.
Minus 0.515 million barrels, 515,000 barrel loss. They were looking for
That's not actually
1.5 million barrel plus loss of 515,000.
terrible miss.
Yeah. Not that, I mean, like D says, probably going to be a storm in a teacup.
I'm waiting to be able to
Thanks,
put my
man.
resume in to be an analyst for crude inventories, where I can just blindfold myself and throw a dart, just throw a dart at a wall and see what happens. That's pretty much the projection, it seems.
Someone in the chat here, Michael says, looks like Michael needs my help. I made 20K today and 30K yesterday. Call SOS when needed.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, what's up, Danny Trades?
Everyone's coming out of the
Hey, I
woodwork
remember-
these days. I'm obsessed.
I like Danny
I'm
Trades.
obsessed with.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the characters in this
He's a
space.
cool guy.
The characters in this space are just hilarious.
Danny,
It's
you're
so
a cool guy. Kind of wild. You're wild, but there's a lot of wild guys out there.
So good, man.
Andre, how do you feel about Lambo Raul?
I love them all, man. It's like a lot of it feels like WWE. You got Stone Cold, you got The Rock, you got The Undertaker.
That's a good.
It feels like you got Triple X, you got Triple H. I mean, it just feels like wrestling, man. Some of this feels like a little bit of wrestling. Granted, there's big bucks at stake, and we're all grinding and trying to make some money and outthink the market. But man, a lot
We're
of
all
this
just
has like
trying to take
WWE
money
feel.
away from the larger institutions, as I like to say. Just get
Well,
If we're all actually in the live markets, we're all trying to take money from each other. Technically, it's a zero-sum game.
that is technically
I'll
true.
play it that way. Yes.
It does
Yeah.
remind me of the saying. There was some famous investor who I believe once said, if the CFO has a $10,000 watch, I buy the bonds. If he has a $500,000 watch, I short the bonds.
Oh God.
I'll just leave it there.
I mean, at that point,
How
you're
about
just
that,
pretty
Mike?
much calling it a casino. Like it's like, I mean, you're now just playing the game of gambling, which people like action.
That's an
More and
indicator.
more people on this planet like action now. It can come right to your hand. I mean, we went from fantasy football. You can bet on fantasy football to all of a sudden it's a sports book app in your hand. Like that went pretty quick.
I mean, with
Hey, I got
betting on the
zero date
presidency.
expiration options, this is a casino. It's hard to say it isn't when you can hedge positions minutes before news releases with options.
Yeah.
I think it's more
especially
risk
if
management.
they
Hey, I
lock
can
in the trading
confirm,
hours.
real quick, guys. Hey, JJ, I do have some news for you. I can confirm that JJ will be getting the keys to his live account this Friday.
Woohoo!
We'll be looking forward to that. We'll have you back here. Be live trading into the big leagues, pro ball. We got a pro ball trader getting called up to the big leagues, XFA live funded because what we do, real trades, real executions, real P&Ls. Only Top Step.
Danny Trades, you want me to set up a boxing match with PW and you?
Oh my gosh.
I think Rips is probably going to be
We're
in
not-
there. He's going to, when the bell rings, it'll be like WWF. You just tap each other and tap it. But no, Danny, you actually can box. So I think you already have a competitive advantage there. Verbal boxing is what everybody's doing on Twitter right now. It's kind of a
And I'm just trying to trade to pay my bills. That's all I'm trying to do.
Hey, that's like, it means you're like a real trader and you're not just looking for clicks and stuff. You're just-
you're going to be once you have that ball of joy in your hands, you're going to have more of that pressure on than ever. Once you have the kid. Okay, I
Nick,
got
once
this
we
to
have a
pay
chance,
for.
whenever we have a chance, I know that a lot of people that are watching would like to kind of take a look back and see what put you in that short so well earlier, at 1:00 in the morning while you were not sleeping, 2:00 in the morning, whenever it was.
Yeah, let me see how I can describe this. I'll get that.
Awesome. Not really getting much of a pullback here in these equities. Gold
Not
still
at all.
holding the IB low as support. Still have that failed downside auction in gold. Starting to roll up now.
Man. More fun coupons. Oh man, I'm catching strays on the internet again. Pull that up.
Are you
Harden caught one? Even Harden caught
checking that
one?
Are you checking that like right now? Like when we're on screen, you're watching the social media stuff?
It was Slack.
Hogue, I simply looked at the Slack channel. I simply just
okay,
looked at
sorry.
the Slack channel. Hogue.
No,
That's where all our communication's done. Hogue. That's where all
I
the
don't
communication's
really do
done,
social
Hogue.
media, so I
right
don't
there
just
in
checking
Slack.
it out. There it
MP,
is.
why don't you read what they just posted in Slack? Incredible.
I have a social media account. I've already seen it all.
Oh
I'm
my
current.
God.
I'm updated. I'm
so
updated.
Anyways,
Just
last
leave it.
trade in the Nasdaq. Yeah, we gotta get back focused on all this WW nonsense. 20,688 last trade in the Nasdaq. We got view up at 670. Just chilling above that. I trade sideways a little bit.
Crazy.
Looking at the ES 5881, about 5 points off the highs there. That was pretty tame. Keep an eye here on the Dow. Dow's been creeping higher, but that's the one that really took us higher. 42,600 last trade. 632's high of the day. All right, let's go around. All right, everyone's flat right now. JJ's flat. Nick for a tick's flat. House account's flat. Correct. Everyone's flat.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Don't say it all at once there, JJ. Do something. I like this.
I really
Brad,
want to go
I don't have
again.
Hey, short.
That's okay. Here we go. We haven't had a poll out today. We need to get polls going, just get thoughts and opinions. Here's a poll. Do you believe a strong bias helps or hurts you?
What made you
When
ask
you
that
come into
question?
trading, I see a lot of people say it's gonna do this. Gonna do this basically means that you're totally hook, line, and sinker bought into that. It's gonna do this. And there's other folks that say, well, it could do this or it could do that. In your conviction, in your game of trading, does it help or hurt you? This helps the newbies too. It helps veterans. It helps. I mean, let's say they know, but yeah.
So what did you ever hunt, MP? Like deer hunt?
Yeah, quail, pheasant and quail.
Okay.
And sometimes we just shoot squirrel's nest for the fun of it, which I don't like.
Yep. So like in hunting, you would have, you always try to pick the deer stand that you thought was going to see the most action, right? And usually you would say, well, the wind is coming from the north or from the east. And so that stand is setting up on the correct side of the pass, so then they can't smell it, Well, that's what you would be planning like the day before or whatever. Well, then what would happen? You wake up in the morning, the wind's changed, and it's now coming from the south, let's say. And so then you would need to pick the other stand. Well, I think in trading, it's the very same thing. Your bias is when you look at it, you say, well, if price is below this or price is above this, VWAP, whatever your program, your strategy is that you have that gives you an edge in trading, then you say, okay, this is my bias. But if the wind were to change, if price were to change and go below such and such, then my bias would need to change because based on my trading strategy. To me, that's how I think about it.
I love that. I think it's also like the reason why I asked this question, because I think it's a good question. Look, I was like, I've watched a Big Short 100 times, and what's his face in there is completely convicted that the housing is this, and it took him forever. Taking heat, all his investors, the whole world telling him he's an idiot, taking all the paper, and then in the end he crushes it. So that's long term. And somebody said in here about it works when you're swing trading. Yeah, that's not long term. I'd say that's midterm or whatever. Like you're holding it for a week or weeks. But day trading to me, you have to have a flexible bias, or else you get steamrolled. Like right now, I'm sure all of us still want to get short because we were short earlier and it got stopped out, and short that got stopped out. So it's not like all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm totally looking at seeing the longs all of a sudden. So you can get caught in this quicksand of bias. That's why I've always had the flexible bias, strong opinions, weakly held, like that kind of mentality. So you stay loose. You let information come in and out, and then you just like, okay, boom, and then you hit and then that timing ends up being good trading of knowing when to and when to get in and what direction to get in on. Without
and I think you got to know what changes your bias, because it's very easy to go off of just what the lines that we see on the chart, like the candles. And that doesn't necessarily, like, to me, levels win. They always win. There's always, gas is expensive at $3 in our mind, or at least here in the Midwest. That's expensive. And when gas goes down to $2.50, you're like, fill up the tank, right? And so it's just this arbitrary level to some degree. And the markets is really about the same. There's some arbitrary level where gas is price is too cheap or too expensive.
Yep.
It's an auction.
Yep.
It is an auction. And I never knew about that whole deer hunt, that hunting. What do you call them? Deer stands?
Oh, yeah.
You got to know where the wind is blowing. Dude, I know you're going to live. Oh, that was so bad. That was so bad. That was so
what
bad.
Do you call those deer stands? Yeah, you're waiting for a deer.
No.
Yeah.
The whole wind thing.
There was this old timer that he smoked like a chimney pipe. And, here I was a new hunter, and, my friends were like, oh, you got to get, the smell or the odor killer, and you got to wash your clothes, and you got to do all this kind of stuff, right? That's how the thing. So I go over to his place because he was going to take me out, and I show up, and he's got a cigarette hanging out. He smells like cigarettes. He's got just his old, jean jacket on and jeans on. I'm like, what is this dude doing? I'm like, I thought you were going hunting. He's like, yeah, we're going hunting. Like, you're not ready. He's like, I'm ready. He's like, all we're going to do is sit up over there. We're going to be downwind from there. They'll walk right past us at 4:05. I'm like, what in the world? So we show up 4:05.